Hi team, so in this video I'm going to explain exactly how effective dates work and how timelines work, because this is an area of confusion, especially for newer agents. But what's scary is a lot of experienced agents struggle with this as well. So let's go ahead and start with what exactly are we talking about with effective date. The effective date is the date that the last party either signs or initials and it's actually delivered. That's what you count as your effective date on the contract. So I thought that I'd just go ahead and use this calendar here, kind of for you guys to follow along, and we'll talk about a few scenarios. So let's say, for example, you originate a contract, an offer. You start an offer over here on Saturday the 14th, and you're going back and forth and back and forth, and on the night of the 15th, which is a Sunday, the night of the 15th with the Sunday, that is when you receive the very last initials and it's delivered to you. So what you do is you write down that your effective date is Sunday, April 15th. Now, here's where some confusion arrives. All contracts are calendar days unless it indicates that it's business days. One more time, all contracts are calendar days unless it indicates that it's business days. So here's how it works. You are going in, you're representing the buyer, you got an as is, you're going back and forth, you get it all signed here on the 15th. That is your effective date. So the calendar starts, the timeline starts the very next day. So let's say you have 3 days to get your initial deposit in. So you received it on the 15th, which is going to be day 1. Day 1 is going to be Monday, day 2 Tuesday, and then by the end of business on the 18th, that is when we need to have that deposit in there. See how that works? You received it the 15th, signed, sealed, and delivered. That is your effective date. The 16th, 1, 2, 3. All right? Now, here's where some more confusion comes in. Do weekends and holidays count? Absolutely, they count. You can't say, well, I received it on a Sunday, so the actual effective date is the next day. Absolutely not. That Sunday is your effective day. The next day is day 1. Tony, but I heard that something about holidays and weekends and all that. Okay, here's what it is. The last day of any timeline cannot fall on a Saturday, Sunday, or holiday. The very next, if it does, it rolls over to the very next day at 5 p.m. So what does that mean? Let's go ahead and say that you do a 5-day inspection period. You have this as your effective date. So day 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Actually, call it 6. Say day. It's a 6-day inspection period, and the last day, the 6th day, falls on a Saturday. Well, what you then have is you have until Monday the 23rd. That's how that works. If the final day of the loan approval period falls on a Saturday, Sunday, or holiday, it rolls over to 5 p.m. on the next day. If the final day of the second deposit, same thing. The closing date is going to land on a Saturday or Sunday, which that's something you could catch at the very beginning. Come on, let's get real. Why are we putting a closing date of a Saturday or Sunday or holiday on the contract? Those are things you look out for. But should that happen, it forwards to 5 p.m. on the following day. So this is as simple as it is. And I have no idea why it has caused so much confusion. But here's something that you have to understand and definitely take to the bank. Effective dates are in stone. They're golden. You cannot mess around with them. If at any point in time you're representing a party that ends up defaulting on a contract because they didn't pay attention to the timeline, and it goes back to something that you did or did not do, that is going to cause you and us a whole lot of problems and potential legal liability. Here's what I want all of you to start doing from now on. When you have an executed contract, I need you to send an email to the other side. Whether you are the seller or the buyer side, you send an email to the other side saying, hey, I'm glad we're working together. Let me just put down some dates here so that we're all on the same page. And the email is going to contain the effective date. So our effective date is blah, blah, blah. The final day for inspections is blah, blah, blah. The final day for this, but since it lands on a Saturday, it will carry over to this day. You see where I'm going with this? And you send this out, so if there's any confusion about what the effective date is or when the timeline ends, you deal with it and you catch it then. This is something that's almost like an epidemic within our industry, that you can have so many agents that have been around for so long doing so many deals and don't understand something this simple. Yet everything hinges on having this understood, because of what it can do to deposits for the buyer, obligations to the seller, so on and so forth. So that's it. You now know. Any questions, you know we're here to help you out, guys. Be extreme.